You have to acknowledge where the emotion is coming from. You have to acknowledge the root of it. But no one wants to see this in their community, especially in a community that has traditionally, like I said earlier, protested peacefully. And so this is a different generation. When we're seeing that live video, we are seeing very young people out there who are expressing themselves in their way. Now we're seeing the fire from above, and we're seeing it on the right-hand side of your screen from the camera that we do have on the ground. And this was the heartbreaking scene similar to what we started to see in Minneapolis at nightfall. And now here we are in the place where we call home, seeing something eerily similar just 24 hours later. To put it into perspective, we are going into the 6th hour of this protest. Once we hit the 10 o'clock hour, we will be going into hour 6 of this happening. Can't say that the crowd has necessarily gotten larger, but it's definitely gotten more intense with approach, J. Bell.
Yeah, and I know this has been a big concern for a lot of people, what we would see as nighttime approached and has now fallen here in Atlanta. I did want to bring back a comment because Hope Ford asked Governor Brian Kemp about possible protest earlier this week during a news conference, and he said he wasn't concerned. He said that he thought things would be okay, and so I think this situation is turning out much differently than what we have seen with protests in Atlanta before, and much differently than what people were hoping and expecting to see in terms of the protest here in Atlanta. I think that there were intentions of having a peaceful protest. We have heard from some people saying that that protest came and went and it has ended, and some of those people did go home. But again, we have heard from our reporters on the ground that some people have been arriving throughout the evening in the later hours as well to join this protest and whatever's going on out here as it has. As you can see this bigger view of this these fires, and we understand that's near the College Football Hall of Fame. Just a lot of smoke and fire. It doesn't appear to be a lot of people in that vicinity, but those fires are underway, and it becomes an even more dangerous situation with these protests, as that makes it more difficult for first responders to get there and address those fires as well.
It's interesting that it's not the source of a major crowd. It looks like it may be a couple of people walking over there. Maybe the fire got their attention, but it doesn't seem to be the source or an area where major protests were happening. So this fire may have been set with a small group that may have walked away, or just maybe a small group of people. As we mentioned, this protest is very spread out. At times we've seen bigger crowds and then these smaller crowds that are popping up. But this is devastating for a lot of people to be witnessing right now.
Yeah, and those flames are very close to trees nearby, and we do see it is very difficult to see right now. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's hard to see what's going on, but we do see some people not too far from where those fires are going on right now. And again, this is happening near the College Football Hall of Fame in downtown Atlanta. So as police have moved the crowd away from the CNN Center more and more, we are seeing them go in a different direction. There's the Embassy Suites right there, not too far from where those fires are taking place. And we're seeing more and more crowds that have drifted away from the CNN Center and from Centennial Olympic Park and moved in other directions.